Hypercast 08. We are now live in the studio with
Jack Renard,
Neil Lee Griffin,
Josh Moeller,
and Amber Moyer. We will also be entertaining you with a special guest by Karen Malena.
Wow, this is pretty professional here. I'm not used to this standard of quality. Like,
Yeah, wow.
We go back to recording in our closet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to our new studio.
Alrighty, now that you guys are done bashing my professional style, today we will be informing you guys of what is going on in our studio.
Yes, that is what we call it.
Is it?
I wasn't sure. I figured we might have given it a new name. Anyway.
Nope.
We should call it like the compound or the installation.
The
bunker.
No. The sanitarium.
Ooh, the sanitarium.
Yeah.
You know, I would like that, but isn't that the name of that awful production company that does nothing but knockoff movies?
That's the asylum.
That's the asylum.
Oh, yeah.
Broad Spectrum Sanitarium.
That actually has a good ring to it.
Yeah, and it keeps our initials.
Yeah, I don't think
yeah.
I might be able to pronounce it, though. That's the real trick.
They can't get past Spectrum, so we're screwed already.
Yeah.
Yes, we have agenda for everybody, so you can follow along in what we will be talking about today.
Yeah, it's the first time I ever had agenda.
A what?
Agenda.
A what?
And
Agenda.
Gender?
Yeah, he doesn't know if he's a male or female. At least not before today.
well, now that I've cleared that up for everybody, yep, he's a male.
She had to check. Sorry, Josh.
Our updates for today. Flintlock and Gunner Craig. So what's going on with these things, guys?
Well, apparently you guys have been having a lot of fun recording while I've been away, unfortunately. I'm taking summer classes, so I've got a pretty heavy load. I don't have a whole lot of time for voice acting and fun, so...
We've noticed.
Yeah, it's mostly been you guys in the studio without me, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's been a lot more fun.
Yeah. Why don't you want to be our friend anymore? We thought you liked us.
You're kind of ugly.
That is true, which is why we don't do vlogs.
I think we've already touched on this before.
We have. But no, if that were the case, then I would associate with you guys more, actually, if you were uglier, because then I would look better by comparison.
Keep
The
telling
whole
yourself
blonde girl
that.
effect.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful mind, isn't it?
So, I have not been as involved with voice recording lately, but you guys have been doing a lot, I understand, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Been having lots of fun, had lots of fun characters you like doing?
We have been on the ball.
I doubt that.
Are you serious?
Actually, what?
Well,
You haven't seen the file list, man.
You haven't seen it?
Dude.
Everything we've done.
No joke.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, you know what? Go back to your hole, and
Aw.
we'll finish this.
Yes.
I have been voted off of the studio.
Yeah.
So anyway, what's happening with Gunner Craig and Flintlock? Well, we have lots of new characters being introduced into Gunner Craig. Definitely have to give Tom Siddell credit for having a very dynamic cast and always bringing in and introducing new characters. There's nothing like only having a boxed-in single character that really takes away the fun of an episode. By having the lively characters that we do, it not only provides us with great entertainment opportunities, but also, dun dun dun,
Oh, I don't know, because it was hard to follow the way you said that.
There's no cue
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah, where are the cue cards?
It also allows a lot of opportunities for collaboration, obviously.
to you.
Yeah, because what I was going to say was, even where we do have a very dynamic cast with Gunner Craig, we have a very limited number of voices in our studio. So, with that being said, yes, as Jack was saying, it makes a great opportunity for collaborations. We've actually got a list together, and we're going to talk to the Beard from
You
our.
may remember from our last Hypercast.
The Beard.
Saxton Hale!
Yeah, and see if he'd be interested in working with us on Gunner Craig a little bit. And maybe I'm a bit presumptuous here, but maybe we could open this up to some of our fans and see if they wanted to participate as some of the voice actors in some of our Gunner Craig.
Crowdsourcing.
I think it has its potential.
I am very much a fan of that, especially, like I said, since I'm busy and I haven't been able to be as proactive with our voice acting as I would like to be.
We know.
I would enjoy collaborating even if I had tons of time, because I think it worked out really well with the open auditions we did for the Fox unit.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, we had a lot of great people that tried out.
Oh, yeah.
I wish we could have had more roles to give away, you know,
Yeah.
because we had a lot of great actors there. But that turned out so well that I've been wanting to get back into that ever since we released Fox Unit, and since that was kind of the nail in the BSS coffin, and we just started reviving ourselves this year, we haven't gotten the collaborations back up. But I think now's pretty much the time. I think we have an excellent opportunity.
That was the time.
So, with that being said, if any, you know, all of our fans are following us or following Gunner Craig Court, after the Hypercast, or whatever, if you guys wanted to look ahead in Gunner Craig and see if there's anybody you might be interested in playing, send us a little voice clip, info@broadspectrumstudios.com, and we'll get back with you.
Yeah, absolutely. We would love to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
And we love collaborating.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, and Flintlock is, if you've read the comic, Flintlock. There's the story.
Yeah, Flintlock, it does not have as large a cast of characters as Gunner Craig does, so there's not as much opportunity for open auditions and collab in that area. We're still open to it by all means,
The
but...
Horde.
What was that?
The Horde.
Yeah. We're still open to it by all means, but most of the major characters in Flintlock we've already plotted out. We've already got actors from in the studio to take care of. But Gunner Craig still has a couple main characters that we have not assigned yet. So
We'd really rather someone, if you're looking for a main character role, we want you to be able to kind of commit to it, because we're planning on trying to take this as far as we can take it, as far as, you know, Tom will let us go with it. And we don't like having to change characters because somebody backs out on us. So if you want to commit to a main character, make sure you're going to have the time to run with us for the next few years.
really good point, Josh.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're always looking for people to interview and connect with. So if you're out there and you want to be on the show, send us an email explaining why you should be on the show and why we should interview you, and we'll check them out, and you might get a spot on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. As you guys kind of know, we've kind of meandered through a lot of these Hypercasts without really knowing why we were here, and only just now we started to really get a good purpose to these. You know, understanding, really honing in on that entertainment for entertainers dimension.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we want to keep the same broad spectrum feel. You know, we're not looking for just actors or just singers or what have you. We're actually looking for people from every bound of the entertainment spectrum, including writers. That's actually who we have on the guest star today, as a guest actor today.
That is
Yes.
true.
So,
An author.
if you are at all involved in the production side of entertainment, as far as writing, camera work, graphic design, sound engineering, acting,
Special effects.
or if you're even in the business side of it, as far as marketing goes, as far as
Producing
Contracts,
and contracts.
Yeah.
yeah, we would love to hear any kind of input you have, and I'm sure that the rest of our listeners would as well.
Absolutely.
And I know all of our listeners out there want to know how Metal Gear Solid 4 is going. So, to give you a quick update, we are collaborating with a couple of artists, but we haven't settled on anybody yet. So, for the rest of you who still want a shot at collaborating with us and getting your artwork as one of our productions to work with us on Metal Gear Solid 4, send us your info, send us a couple of your shots. We are more than happy to keep looking.
Because Metal Gear
Sorry.
4 will not happen without you guys.
There we go.
It will not. So you have to help us if you want this to happen.
Yeah.
Help us.
I just want to throw in there that
Yeah.
if you are an aspiring artist and you want a chance at having your art featured in the Metal Gear Solid 4 comic, it does help if you attach tea and corn dogs with your
Oh,
resume.
yes. We do enjoy corn dogs.
Yeah, that really bumps you up on our priority
State
list.
Fair corn dogs.
State Fair beef corn dogs.
It seems kind of seem to be harping on that, Neil. What's the deal with that?
Pork corn dogs
Somebody fed you pork corn dogs?
are disgusting.
Where? When did this happen?
State Fair makes them.
Okay, State Fair makes pork corn dogs?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be pork dogs? That almost went someplace bad.
Yeah, it did.
Truthfully, I didn't notice a whole lot of difference in flavor.
I
But,
did.
you know, Neil with his sophisticated palate and all.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
'cause
corn dogs.
corn dogs are very sophisticated.
Yes, they are.
I liked them.
Well, apparently, me not being here has not been an all negative thing, because I missed out on the pork corn dogs, apparently.
Yeah, we missed them by a day, actually, Jack.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys just had them yesterday.
Yep.
Thursday.
I just got that out of the way.
Yeah.
Still can't beat that fish soup.
Okay, so bringing it back to if you want to be an artist for Metal Gear Solid 4, send us your info, send us some samples, and tea.
Yes.
Because nobody can decide on corn dogs.
Beef.
Beef.
Apparently beef corn dogs.
Apparently
Yes.
beef.
So Neil,
Yeah.
tell us what's
Yes.
going on with Open Your Eyes.
It will be out Friday,
Whoa, this Friday.
And the date would be?
28th.
That sounds right. I'm not so good
Yes,
with the math,
yes.
but
Sure, that sounds good.
Friday the 28th. Exciting.
Yeah.
So we finally got the cover art all ironed out and everything?
Yes. Thanks to you, actually, for doing the cover art.
Ah, well,
Did
thank
you
you.
really,
I forgot that I had done that.
You really saved me. More than you know.
I'm glad I had a good time working on this. I wish I could have been more involved with the project from day one, but as I've already said, I'm pretty busy right now. But
Right.
I'm very happy that I had the opportunity to jump in and at least get something done with this.
Well, I'm happy to have you do the artwork for anything I do, really.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
So it will be out Friday, and you can buy it on my website, neilleegriffin.wix.com/scarecrow.
That's right, guys. Just in case you're just tuning in, welcome back to the By Neil Lee Griffin CD cast.
Yes.
Number 8.
How many have you guys bought?
6.
8.
I own every CD you've ever come out with.
Because I gave it to you.
It doesn't matter.
Somebody
still
bought
have
it.
them.
I think it was you.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So yes, log on, buy Neil CDs. They are an awesome, awesome music.
Yes. Help us out.
They're not heavy metal.
Yeah.
They're not heavy metal. They actually
Yes.
had
Everybody
some
thinks
trouble
I'm
with
heavy
that.
metal, and I'm actually not.
He looks like Johnny Depp, not heavy metal.
I was thinking more of the Shaggy Bon Jovi thing, but
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you too, sadly.
Anyway.
I was for doing this gothic rock.
Really?
That's right. Gothic rock, yeah.
I don't really know what I fit in.
I think he's kind of a Griffin Weave genre.
Yes, this is one genre.
Nice.
But check out his website. I know you've been working on your website to try to get rid of that metal look because apparently that's what people associate you
Yeah.
with somehow.
It's not what I was going for, but everybody's like, "Oh, heavy metal, ooh, dark and evil." It's like,
Hey, you don't have enough
It's-
pig squeals in your songs.
right?
You don't have enough.
I mean, I'm not even close to that,
Right.
Ozzy would be ashamed.
right?
Although I do find it pretty interesting to mention, like, when I was doing the album art for Open Your Eyes, I did a couple different treatments, and the very first one I came up with, I was really proud of. I sent it to you, but it was very creepy
It was
and
creepy.
dark.
Right.
Like,
It was creepy.
It creeped everybody out, and
Yeah.
it was funny because I actually got the inspiration from a couple of different creepy images I had seen, and I'm like, well, I'm not a good enough graphic designer to make that actually creepy. You know, I can just pull from that, but because I'm naturally clumsy at how I design, it's going to look goofy when I do it, not creepy.
Right.
And somehow it managed to end up a lot creepier than the original inspiration.
Yeah, it did.
So, and then after that, when I went through the iteration that ultimately came to be Tangle Wild, I still made the face on the cover look kind of like a scowl and like it had teeth and it
A
looked
little bit.
evil.
Yeah.
So, like, that's just my default setting whenever I do art for you. Is I just
Yeah.
automatically want to make it creepy and scary.
Right.
So,
So now that we've brought up Tangle Wild,
Yeah. Oh, yes.
did I say Tangle
You said
Wild?
Tangle
You did
Wild.
say
I meant to
Tangle
say
Wild.
Open Your Eyes.
I totally missed that too.
That's cool. All right, well, tell us about Tangle Wild.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get to. Is Open Your Eyes is about clarity and whatnot, but Tangle Wild, we are kind of going back in towards the darker aspect.
But not in a way you might think. It's more like old world rootsy and acoustic and still orchestral, but it's kind of like a fairy tale. It's got a narrative through it with all these different characters and their life inside these woods that are Tangle Wild. It pulls from folklore, like a jack-o'-lantern. Why do we use a jack-o'-lantern on Halloween? Well, I have a song that explains that in Tangle Wild. Yeah. So it's just it's going to be fun.
And we have another iteration of Guilty also, don't we?
hey,
Yes.
look at who we have coming in the studio.
Wow, surprise guest star in the
Yes.
studio.
Oh,
today.
Wow.
awesome! Our
No
own
joke.
Jessica Reinecke.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Wow, this is the first time you've been on a Hypercast, I believe.
It is true.
Wow.
You guys may know her as the voice of Katarina Donlin from Gunner Creek.
Yep.
And some other stuff she's done.
Yeah, no. She's never done anything else.
I don't do things.
Jessica is the one who does all the backing vocals on my music. And if I need a female vocalist, she's the one to go to. Exactly.
That was not
Yeah.
a MIDI sound.
Yeah, like somebody plays this little soundboard for that. That's actually a real person this time.
But before we move on to our next segment, the last little tidbit of music is Apocrypha.
Oh, yes. Tell us about Apocrypha.
The conspiracy theory song from Let's Destroy Metal Gear. Right? See? It's just Metal Gear, Metal Gear, Metal Gear, Metal Gear, Metal Gear, Metal Gear.
We should do a Hypercast. That's all we do for an hour. Just Metal Gear, Metal Gear, Metal Gear.
Oh, Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear. Metal Gear, Metal Gear, Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
Broad Spectrum Studio fans want that conspiracy theory song. Neil, get in there.
Easy. I don't suck.
Well, Spectrum Studios wanted one Apocrypha on iTunes. So speaking of Apocrypha from Let's Destroy Metal Gear, it will soon be available on iTunes and all the major
And every-
online retailers.
Yeah, like everything.
Yeah.
iTunes,
Like-
Amazon.
iTunes, Amazon, Xbox Live, MySpace, if you name it, it's going to be
MySpace
on
is
it.
still available?
MySpace.
It is actually.
Wow.
Nobody uses
Does that mean it's
MySpace.
also available on Etch-a-Sketch?
It might be. It's a
might be.
printout. You know, it's like a printout of it. A transcript, rather. Yeah. So it will be available shortly on all the major online retailers, and we will let you know as soon as that is live.
Sounds
Awesome.
great.
Well then.
Did we had one more special announcement?
We did have
I
one more.
think we
Do we have
did.
time for that? I don't know. if we have
I
time
think
for
we
this.
have
Do
time
we?
for that.
We had one more actual big announcement today.
And what's that?
Metal Gear, Metal Gear, Metal Gear, Metal Gear, Metal Gear, Metal Gear,
Metal Gear.
Metal Gear, Metal Gear.
But in all seriousness,
Metal Gear.
That actually is the announcement.
Drum
No.
roll.
Brrr, that's supposed to be Neil's MIDI.
That's AR-15 right there. That's not a normal I've heard.
Those were legal. Those were legal, man. Anyway, no, we're actually working on something right now. I think we're gonna start putting it in with our regular rotation. Are we not?
Yeah,
Jack?
we are. We're going
We
to keep
are.
with this weekly uploads, a new show every week. But we're just going to throw an extra one in there for you guys.
And what
So
might
it's
that
a
show
different
be?
show every week.
Yes.
And the new show is
Last Days of Foxhound!
The Last Days of Foxhound. That sounds like Metal Gear.
It
it is Metal Gear.
It's a Metal Gear spin-off. Unfortunately, guys, it's not Heim Daisy's Let's Destroy Foxhound, or what have you. No, Foxhound Studios Hypercast is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
That would be cool though.
That would be cool.
It's like a sitcom.
Right.
It's the audience of one.
Juan's in the audience today? What?
Oh,
So, it is The Last Days of Foxhound. It's a Metal Gear spin-off. It's one that we've actually been requested to specifically.
Have we
several
now?
times.
we
Yeah.
have.
But we've actually been working with it, and we've been having a lot of fun, and it's getting down to a point where I think we can start working it into our weekly uploads.
Yeah, you guys can actually look forward to the first episode, not next week, but the week after next.
Right.
So the week after Apocrypha releases.
Yeah, I think that's the first week of
Whoa,
July.
what?
We don't know
Sorry,
anything about
week
when
after Open Your Eyes releases.
Let's get the releases straight here.
It's so hard. Like, it was a lot easier back when we just didn't do anything to know what our schedule was.
Because we didn't have anything to release. I'm gonna tell you, I've never done this much Psycho Mantis in my life.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Not
Yeah.
even back in the 70s? Because
Not
I thought
even.
you did a lot of Psycho Mantis back then. Oh, wait,
Right.
are we talking about the same thing?
Are we?
I hope so.
So do I.
No, the cool thing about this is even though it's not by Heim Daisy, it's actually by a fellow named Chris Doucette. I hope I'm saying that the right way. But it takes a look at Metal Gear Solid 1 from the perspective of the boss characters instead of the protagonist.
Oh.
And so the villains are actually the protagonists of this story. And it's really fun because we get to renew all of our old voices the way we've been doing them. Neil gets to be Psycho Mantis, I get to be Liquid Snake, Amber gets to be
Sniper Wolf.
Shut your mouth.
Thank you. Josh gets to be Gray Fox again. So
Nobody cares about you.
it's very fun coming back to it after it's been
How many years?
Wow.
Has it been?
3 years, 2 or 3
Something
years
like
since the first time we made these characters.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
we're finally reprising them again. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it is.
Oh yeah, but Neil is like. Neil he doesn't have the lung capacity he used to have for his Psycho Mantis years ago because
He changed smokes now.
Yeah, he's been token up on that Psycho Mantis, and now it's like he can go a few panels, and then we've got to pick him up off the floor, fan his face, splash some water on him, and get him back in there. You know.
Is that why we were doing that?
Yep.
So some just kind of sick fetish. What's wrong with you guys?
You participated willingly.
Oh, yeah.
Not the same as I was. I can't complain over the changes that you've made in me. All that I was is long gone. All that I am is right here with you. Hold on to me, and I won't let you fall so easily. Just reach out and take my hand, I'll set you free. And everything you are is all I need. The world was once upon a time. Everything I saw was black and white. Through my eyes, you colored in the empty spaces with all of your smiling faces on my mind. Hold on to me, and I won't let you fall so easily. Just reach out and take my hand, I'll set you free. And everything you are is all I need. And I won't let you fall so easily. Just reach out and take my hand, I'll set you free. And everything you are is all I need. And everything you are is all I need. Everything you are is all I need.
Up next on the Hypercast, we have a very good friend and author who actually found me from my Scarecrows page and offered to promote me and really took to what I was trying to do with promoting awareness for stuttering. And she said that she was doing the same thing with a book she had just written, Shadow of My Father's Secret, about a young man who stutters. So without further ado, Karen Malena.
Hi, everybody.
Good to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, as Neil mentioned, you are a writer. We actually haven't had a writer on the show yet, so we have to learn all kinds of things about the writing process. What inspired you to pursue that? Like, what made you say, I want to write?
What actually inspired me was when I was a young child, there were some serious issues going on in my family life, and it caused me to have a crazy, vivid imagination. I retreated to a lot of fantasy world, a lot of books and movies, and make-believe in my own head, a lot of pretend. And I think to be a good writer, you have to be a person who knows how to pretend and live in these other worlds. And I think some of you as songwriters can understand that, too. I would create vivid scenarios, things like that, and I would say that's what prompted me to want to write.
That's actually really inspiring. Like, I know a lot of people, if they have to deal with, trauma early on in their lives, it can kind of mess things up for them later on. But the fact that you're able to take that and to turn it into something positive is really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
You all right
a little
there?
tear there.
Yeah, I'm good. No.
All right, good.
Yes, Josh?
No, that's good. No, I guess it's inspiring for me too, because when I was growing up, I had a lot of I don't know if it's so much. I don't know. I guess with my sister was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes when she was 9. I was basically raised in a single parent household, and I'm the oldest of 5 children, so it was. Life for me growing up was really kind of rough, and I didn't really have a creative outlet like that. There was a period of my life where I literally thought I was going crazy. I heard voices in my head, and I was afraid to tell anybody because I didn't want to end up locked up somewhere.
Right.
So, I wish I kind of wish I had some creative outlet or someone to kind of push me in a direction of a creative outlet when I was younger.
But don't you think that we creative people have all had something, maybe not a major trauma in our lives, but something pushes and inspires people, like you were saying, something serious maybe from childhood or just, something you might have gone through. I think that pushes people to be creative sometimes.
So how old were you when you realized that, like, writing was your calling?
At 15, I wrote a very, very sappy, tragic story, okay? I thought it was great. I'm 15 years old. I know everything there is to know about writing. And this was back in, I hate to date myself, but this was back in the mid-'70s, and you boys are way too young for that. But there was movies of the week on back then that were really, really tragic. And, so I wrote this story about 2 best friends, and one died, and oh man. So I gave it to my mother to read, and I'm thinking she's going to fall on the couch, just overwrought with emotion. And she started to laugh at it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So you can imagine that, that was really, really tough for me. I put my tail between my legs and slunk out of the room, and I didn't write for many, many, many years after that. Nothing just gave me the drive or passion, but I knew in the back of my head that it's something that I always wanted.
I'm glad you stuck with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to do, when you really want to do something, and it's just like everybody is like, no, you should really not.
Yeah.
But I think you need that to really make you a better creative person.
You're right. You know what? Maybe the laughter, she could have toned that down some. But,
Right,
what I
of
find
course.
in writers' groups and things, yes, we do need the critique process. We definitely need others to look over our work, no matter what field we're in. Because you can't just think you're the best at everything. You have to look at what others have to say about your work to make you better. So, yeah, I definitely find that.
Yeah, you just mentioned the writers group. How did you find them? And what do you look for when you're with them? And
I had never known there was such a thing out there. I've been in the area I live in Pittsburgh right now. I've only lived here about 7 years, so this has really expanded my horizons like I never thought possible. My husband and I joined a small group Bible study at our church, actually, and one of the fellows in the group mentioned his love of writing and that he had a few pieces published in a magazine. Well, my antennae went up, of course, and I had never met an actual person that was a writer. So I waited for after class and met with him and, spoke to him about that. And he said that he had been kicking around the idea for many, many years to start a writing group. And one thing led to another, and then we had a handful of people, start this once a month writing group. But they're everywhere. I mean, people do this all the time. I had just never known about it till about, maybe 5 years ago.
That's like an excellent resource. So what's involved? What happens when you guys get together and meet up? Do you share each other's stories or what?
Yes. Two of us will usually send something through an email. Nothing too big because we only meet for about 2 hours. And we'll go somewhere that you can eat and have a good time and whatever. And we'll have the stories printed up in front of us and our critiques and edits on the papers, so that we can tell the person, this is what I liked about it. Maybe I'd change this, things like that. You have to be careful because you don't want to crush somebody's spirit either. And, like my mom did. So you get the gist of what I'm saying, I think.
I think it's a really good outlet to do it in. If you have a group of people that you're already kind of friends with, it's a lot easier to take criticism than when you get something out there and you read a review in the newspaper, and it's not as nice as you like to admit. So
it's from somebody faceless, and
yeah, it's a lot easier when you have a personal back and forth with someone.
Right. I know as a writer, you can just write and have all these great ideas and just, but that's only half the process, really. Because after that, there's finding publishing, to get it out there. What was your process in getting published for the first time? How hard was it? Or was it easy? Or tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I was very fortunate within my writers group that one of the girls that's in the group with me met a small publishing company through one of the writers' conventions that she went to across the state. And subsequently, one thing led to another. I was very fortunate. Not everybody can get in with a publisher. You really, really wish you could get in with what they call the big six or the big five, which are your bigger publishing companies. But man, you gotta have some real good luck or some prayers on your side there. But I'm at least fortunate to be in with two small publishing groups, as a matter of fact. I say kudos to those who self-publish. There's so much out there now that you have to be very computer savvy to know how to do that. And I don't know how to format things very well on computers. And I'm very fortunate that I have someone that will take what I type and write and then put it into the correct format for these ebooks, and then eventually for the paperback. So that's kind of how that process went for me.
Now, I want to talk a little bit specifically about your latest book that Neil mentioned here, Shadow My Father's Secret, because that did specifically hit home with a lot of us. For one thing, he's a musician and he stutters, much like the main character of your book.
Yes.
So, this is a book that addresses a lot of issues, it's about forgiveness and understanding where people are coming from. I'm trying not to give too much away here, but what overall would you say is the main theme of the book?
Definitely forgiveness, but you know what I really feel is that everybody does have a story, every one of us. And as Aaron comes to find out in my story, his father has reasons for being, the man that he turned into. It's easy to look at your life and say, my parent was this way to me, or a spouse was that way. I mean, I'm not talking about out-and-out abuse. And as anybody who's read my book, Aaron was not abused or anything like that. Verbally, yes, by his father. But his father had some very tragic reasons for becoming the man he did. And, subsequently from a secret in his own childhood. And he even dealt with his own stuttering issues as a child. And I think it was that, when he sees that in Aaron, that kind of puts him over the edge. And he he dislikes the softness in his son, and all the things he hated about himself as a child. So forgiveness and redemption is a very, very big theme in this book. It is a little dark at times. I actually call it PG-13 because just from what I described happens to Aaron's dad when he was younger. Although it's not it's not deep dark, but it's it's enough that I think kids should be 13 to read this book at least. But I do think it's for young adults. I definitely am trying to reach out to teens and 20-somethings. It definitely seems to fit that category. But I do hope that anybody who might harbor some resentment towards a parent, a spouse, a good friend, a sibling, maybe will take a step back and see that they do have reasons for being, who they are too.
That is excellent, and it's an excellent age group to target for that specifically. Because
Yes.
that is a time when a lot of people are, they're coming to grips with they're about to be adults soon, or they are just newly adults, and they're still trying to figure out a lot of who they are, what they're about, and so much of that is tied up in your history with other people.
Where do I come from?
Exactly, especially like you said, your parents. So that's an excellent subject matter and an excellent age group to target with it. Now, I wanted to also ask you, what made you specifically choose to address stuttering with this book?
Well, a lot of people don't know, and I think it'll be a shock to hear this, but my son actually stuttered a little bit when he was a child. He I think when he was about 3 years old, he started to have a little stuttering issue, and like I said, I really don't even think that it's something that he would remember at this point, but there was a person in our family who made a really big deal out of it to me, and it hurt very, very
Wow.
much.
Oh.
And I also I deal with some issues myself. I call myself, like, I stumble on words when I'm faced with nervous situations, or at work if somebody is very how do I want to say, an aggressive person talking to me. I do have my own issues of stumbling over words, and it's just become something very dear to my heart. And when I did some research for the story and reached out to the stuttering community, I can't tell you what a wonderful, wonderful bunch of people they are. From the people who run the Stuttering Foundation, which I've partnered with recently, to meeting awesome people like Neil. I can't believe the creativity and the wonderful, wonderful community that's out there. So, like I said, it's very, very close to my heart right now.
I remember, I can't remember where I saw it. It might have actually been an episode of Oprah, but not that I watch Oprah, but but there was some showcase I remember, which actually addressed stuttering, because again, usually when a character in any kind of mass media and stuttering is portrayed, they're usually a moron. It's usually someone that's like,
Yeah, it's a joke.
Yeah, stuttering is a sign that they're an idiot or something.
That's something that I can't stand.
Yeah, and
Just from
Yeah.
I remember
being in
specifically
that group. Yeah.
there's a kid, a high school age kid who has a stuttering problem, and all the other kids would make fun of him because of it, and what his mom would tell him to make him feel better, because it was like, Mom, they think I'm stupid because I stutter. She would say, no, honey, your brain's just moving too fast for your words to keep up, I thought that was really sweet,
And that
is.
and honestly, if I had to describe it, that's how I would describe it. I'm a fast thinker, but the rest of me has a hard time keeping up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll be driving and I'll have written an entire song, and by the time I get home, I can't remember it.
Wow.
Like, it's just it's so fast, and I'm like, oh, it's great, it's there, and then it's like I don't have time enough to write it down and to get it solid.
Yes.
So I guess I'm trying to say something that's, my brain knows what I'm going to say, and it's known what I'm going to say for a good while now, and it's done moved on. And my mouth is like, where'd you go? What kind of research did you do for the Shadow of My Father's Secret? Like, who did you talk to, or what did you read, or what was that process like?
That was that was a blast, actually. That was probably one of the most fun things besides writing it. When I decided that my character was going to have a stuttering issue, I set out to YouTube first, and I started to watch videos on, first of all, singers that stutter. Jason Gray is a popular Christian singer that I really like, so I listened to his story, and then I watched some other YouTube videos of some speech therapy and different things like that, and read everything that I could get my hands on. There's other parts in the book, like the family owns a landscaping business, and I spoke with a young man who grew up in a landscaping Italian family, much like my family in that book. Asked him, interviewed him for several hours. I also interviewed a young lady at my church who is on a church worship team where Aaron ends up eventually in my book, and learned some things about that. And then lastly, my godson is in a band, and he has guitars and stuff, and I had to interview him just to learn the names of different guitars and such, because I was illiterate when it came to Hudsons and Gibsons or whatever they're called. I guess I'm speaking your language a little more now, but yeah, I didn't understand all that.
That's the fun part of getting to work on any kind of project. And this it's cross-platform. It deals with writing. It also deals with video and music. Yeah. Where if you find a topic you want to make something about, you do have to do a lot of research beforehand. And you learn so many new things that you just never would have thought to look for before,
As a writer, what are some of your biggest pet peeves?
My biggest one as a reader and writer are flowery stories. I can't stand, and this is going to sound terrible, and forgive me women who might be listening to this, but I like dark stories a little bit. Even a love story or whatever. I like a dark theme a little bit, so I can't stand things that are always tied up nice and neat with a little ribbon at the end. I like a little drama. I like a little question at the end, perhaps.
Nice.
Once again, some very dark themes in stories, and I hate too much description. I just despise it, because I will put a book down that starts with, she walked through the flowery meadow, and it describes every flower she saw and what she was wearing. I don't want to hear it at all.
Wow.
I want to get to the point. I mean, yeah, you need a little description, because you do want your readers to be right there with you. You give them a little bit, you give them a taste, but you don't need to describe everything. Gosh, you got to leave some of that to their imagination.
Absolutely. That's the whole point of reading a book.
Oh my gosh. When I was younger, one of my aspirations when I was a child, I wanted to be a paleontologist when I grew up. I loved dinosaurs, knew everything about them, everything that I could know when I was 10.
Right.
I found Jurassic Park, the book, before it was a movie. And I begged my mom, she bought it for me, a paperback book, $6.99. And I started reading it, and I'm glued to it. Oh my gosh, this is so awesome, this is so awesome. And then, about a third way through, we get to a chapter called Controls. And this chapter repeats. There's 4 or 5 chapters called Controls. And in this chapter, it's 30 pages of you sitting in the control room looking at control screens. I'm like, I can't keep reading. This is boring as... What do I do? Can I skip? Is there a rule that says I have to read this chapter, It was just... It turned me off to it. I blew through the first third of that book in 2 nights. And then I got stuck on Controls for weeks. It was horrible.
I know. I do that too. I put books down. I will not finish a book if it starts taking me down a path. It's like ho hum, or I'll skim over whole chapters sometimes. So I don't know.
Also, I wanted to go ahead and bring this up. Even though the Hypercast itself is secular, I noticed. And when we did a lot of research on you in the book, that you're very spiritual, you're very religious, and I wanted to commend you on that, actually, on putting yourself out there like that. Because I know for me personally, in my own personal life, usually, and especially in the entertainment industry, anytime you bring up the idea of God or spirituality, as it pertains to your life, then people tend to shut down. They kind of just kind of write you off. They're like, oh, you're one of those kind of people, you know?
Alienate a lot of your fans.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to go ahead and commend you on that because it takes a lot of courage to just straight up there go out there and say, hey, thank you, God, for the success you've given me in writing this book.
Thank you. And you know, that I really have to I do owe everything to him, because when I was younger and I did try to write, even in my 20s and 30s, nothing was coming. Like, I wanted to be the next Stephen King. I still love my Stephen King books, you know, and I want to dispel the myth about Christians too, you know. It was so not a boring bunch. Like, I still like horror, I still like Stephen King, I still like crazy rock music. Neil.
Yeah.
I do.
You're too kind.
Stuff. You know, I think I'm very well-rounded, and so dispel all that, you know, gobbledygook. But no, thank you very much. But yeah, I think once you know, in 5 years that I gave my stories over to God, like, I pray before I write, like, tell me, you know, what do you want me to say? Who do you want me to touch with this? That's what I kind of do before I write. So, yeah.
Very cool.
That is pretty cool.
All right, well, we are coming down to the end of the podcast here, but I think we had a kind of fun question for you about another one of your series.
We noticed you have a whimsical short story series about Piggy, the not-so-ordinary cat.
Uh-huh.
And we just wondered if that was inspired by your own pets, or
Maybe
where
your
that came
neighbor's
from.
pets, you know.
Well, that means you must have not watched my son's YouTube videos then, because Piggy features in most of my son's crazy videos. He'll usually, at the beginning or end of something, he's holding his fat cat Piggy. She is appropriately named for her size, by the way. What I wanted to do with that series, I wanted to have something really fun. I never wrote fantasy before, and I wanted to see, can I do this? Can I make animals talk in a book? Well, I'm having a ball with this series, and it's mainly for Matt's YouTube fans. I wanted to do something to give back to them, because they've been so awesome to him in their support of his YouTube channel. So my Piggy series is about Piggy and a mouse that lives in the house, and some crazy weird adventures they go on, and, you know, some mischief they get into. It seems like it would be for kids, but it's not, because it kind of puts you in mind of a Toy Story kind of book, or Babe the Pig, if anybody knows those kind of things,
absolutely.
or Charlotte's Web, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, very, very fun. I'm having a ball doing it.
I wondered if it was something to do with Matt, because the one we saw it was about the claw machine.
Right, yeah. And now you had to deal with the claw machine. Right.
Yep.
Awesome.
For our listeners, if you remember back to it was our last Hypercast or the one before that, we mentioned Matt Magnone, who does YouTube videos about claw machines. And he's really popular, very successful at it. He's got a lot of great advice on there. And just in case we weren't clear with it, he's actually Miss Malena's son. So we have 2 generations of family celebrities on the Hypercast now.
Yeah, I can only wish.
And I noticed when we were kind of reviewing, or kind of looking over your webpage and stuff, and looking at some of the books that you've written, you mentioned that you came from a very tight-knit Italian family. And everybody knows that Italians are famous for excellent food, and I just wondered what your favorite dish might be.
My favorite food is probably eggplant parmesan. I love it. But I don't know that I cook that one that well, but I am an excellent cook, and if my husband was here, he could attest to that for you. I do like baking also, so yes, Italians are known for, you know, their food and their wine, of course, and the mafia, but not my family, no,
Nice.
never. But on a note,
No, of course not.
I love to say this to people, though. My crazy Italian family puts the fun in dysfunctional. So, yeah.
Nice.
That's
They
awesome.
really do.
That's awesome.
Karen, thank you so much for doing this, and for finding me and promoting me, and just accepting me.
Yes, son. yes, adopted Facebook son. Okay.
All right, Karen, thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
back in time today to see if I can find a way. When I stumbled across the thought of you, and if you would remember me, and are you where you wanted to be? As I stumbled across the thought of you, I angel looking down from the sky. You're everything I wanted to be, keeping a watchful eye, holding me under your wing, a love that I could never repay. Everything you've given to me, I hope that you found your way, and everything you need. I'll hear you in the trees as your voice changes the leaves from the serenade. And I'll hear you in the wind as the clouds are rolling from the memories we made. My angel looking down from the sky, you're everything I wanted to be, keeping a watchful eye, holding me under your wing, a love that I could never repay. Everything you've given to me, I hope that you found your way, and everything you need. My angel looking down from the sky, everything I wanted to be, keeping a watchful eye, holding me under your wing, a love that I could never repay. Everything you've given to me, I hope that you found your way, and everything you need.
And now we're back with the
Mailbag!
Yay for mail.
That's what
Woohoo!
everyone looks forward to every week. That's,
Yeah, it is.
I think that's what Revenger looks forward to every week too.
It's okay.
Oh, we're-
Jeff.
You can laugh out loud. Yeah.
You have to hit the laugh button whenever you want to laugh. We do it all the time.
This is not a recording session like our normal ones where we have to shut everybody up.
In all seriousness, that is one of the most difficult things that we have.
Oh
in
my
the rest of
gosh.
it. Like, if we did serious work, well, even in serious work, we cut up. But
Oh, yeah.
usually, when we're recording a comedy, which is most of what our shows are now, like, we'll read something that's just so funny that everybody else in the studio supervising just bursts out laughing, and we have to do the same take like
Yeah.
15 times.
I was just trying to be polite. I had a mouthful of sandwich. But,
She's
It's
being
a-
polite to the microphone.
It's okay. We're used to Jack having a mouthful of anything and it opening anyway. So
Yeah.
I do. I can't help it. I'm just like a bottomless pit. You know that
Duck and cover.
that thing that the Flintstones keep underneath their sink as a disposal? That's me.
Oh, that dinosaur, the
Yeah.
little fat one?
don't pour pickles down the sink. It'll ferment. Jack doesn't like pickles apparently. Found that out this morning.
Really?
So
Yeah, no. I don't like anything that's used as condiment.
You don't like slaw,
Mayonnaise,
pickles?
No, nothing. I like plain food, man. I'm all earthy and hippie and stuff.
he
And
likes
my dad-
he likes all processed food. You know,
Yeah.
Wendy's,
Yeah, I want it out of
McDonald's,
if it's not out of a machine, I don't want it.
Jack in the Box tacos.
All right.
Oh.
Can we go back to
Hands down the worst thing Jack in the Box
Jack
ever
Box
did.
tacos are phenomenally bad.
Yes, they are.
Like,
Mailbag!
you know what? Wait, 1 second before the mailbag. Remember how
Remember how?
I like your mailbag. I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm going to put a pin in it!
But that should be what we do for Steve the Fan Productions. We should put Jack in the Box tacos in a blender and see if he'll drink those.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll let you
those
finish and all, but Jack in the Box has the worst tacos of all time.
All time.
I so know who we're not getting to sponsor us. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Speaking of
Actually, they
sponsors,
might,
we
just
actually had a
because-
comment in our...
Yeah, we did a Josh. Once you mentioned the
yes.
sponsorship comment,
Amber wants to do the mailbag again. I can see it in her face.
Wait, what about sponsorships?
Amber wants to do mailbag again, and then we can do the sponsor comment.
Okay, say
Okay.
mailbag.
Mailbag.
That's not...
That's lame.
Bag.
Mailbag!
All right, and let's open up our mailbag here. That is not a bag.
A door. We keep it in the closet.
Shadowmaster767, if that is correct.
That is Metal Gear again, Part 1.
Yeah, Metal Gear again, Part 1. He says, advertisement, why can't I skip it? Well, those advertisements are... They're our sponsors and our partners, and that's how we make money to continue putting out these videos for you guys to watch. So, sorry that it's there, I guess, but truthfully, you know, if you guys could click on those a couple times, you know, help them out, it'd help us out, actually.
Yeah, you'd be surprised, but actually you have to have power on in the studio in order to record. In order to pay that bill each month, we actually need the ad revenue from our sponsors.
So click on the sponsors, check them out, and we'll continue to bring you great media. 49 Gate says on Hunter Creek Chapter 4, I gotta say, you guys are really good. I wish some movies and series had this kind of quality dub.
Aww.
Well, thank you for that.
That was Jack.
No, it wasn't.
We really strive to do the best we can for these dubs, and yes, they're on the comedic side of it, but we realize that it's a character, and you have to bring that character to life through your voice. So it is an art form. Like, you can't just be anything, or it won't make sense, and it won't be funny or emotional enough for the scene.
Yeah.
We really do our homework to bring these voices to you in a quality manner.
Yeah, we talked to the Beard on our last Hypercast, and he even said, you know, you can be a good actor, but that doesn't make you a good voice actor.
Right.
You know, and that's something, you know, we've had a lot of... that's something we've gotten a lot of practice in with here, you know, trial and error and working with collaborations with other people, like with the Metal Gear series. And
we've learned a lot, too, just about
We really have since we started.
acting in general.
Yeah. I've gone back and watched some of our old episodes, and
they're still good. Like, it's like, wow, we did that. It's like, wow, we did that.
thank you, Neil. I wasn't going that direction. I was going to be like, wow, I can't believe how far we've come in a couple of years, but yeah.
That's because everything horrible that we've ever done, we took off the internet.
Not everything horrible.
not everything. Yeah.
What could I be referring to? I don't know. You'll just have to look through our entire video catalog and
Oh,
find
you
out.
died. You have to watch all of it. It might just be a segment.
In general, just go to our YouTube channel and go into the search box, type in Neil Lee Griffin.
Oh, no.
You're evil.
Oh, you bastard.
We have a comment from Jerry Russian, Cast 7. This was a good Hypercast. I would like to see you guys do vlogs. We've already mentioned why we can't.
Weirdly.
More because of Neil's face than anything.
Oh, man, poor Neil.
I am not the only one in this room.
Welcome to Hypercast 8, the beat up on Neil episode.
The Hawk Neil's video, Hawk Neil's music, and then beat up on him episode.
We would also like to see Broad Spectrum make a Metal Gear Rising Revengeance parody. The only thing is, how would you do it? Because it's a weird game. An idea I had was you could do comics for other games like Resident Evil 2 or Fallout New Vegas. See you guys later. P.S. Mention me in a Hypercast and I will love you guys forever. So, Jerry, this is us mentioning you. Or
Jerry!
me mentioning you.
Jerry!
We love you, Jay Rush. Actually, I'm very curious about how you found us.
Yeah.
Yeah, how
Yeah.
did you find us?
Yeah, send us an email or a comment or post in the comments. Yeah.
Yes, we would love to know how you came upon us and found us.
Yeah. But I believe didn't Revenger 210 respond to Jerry?
Yeah, it actually sparked up this whole conversation between a lot of our cool fans and collaborators here.
That's awesome. Yeah, Revenger 210 responded to that, saying, "That's a cool idea, Jerry. I'd like to see BSS tap into different game parodies. Off topic, but now that I thought about it, the only thing disappointing in this Hypercast was how the Beard never got to do his famous Saxton Hale scream. So much disappointment. Frowny face."
From
To which the Beard replied,
Yeah, you actually got a response from the Beard saying, "Oh man, I don't know if I can follow in the Beard's footsteps, guys." But I'm saying, "Guess we'll have to make it up to you somehow."
To which Revenger then responded, smiley face, "New comic dub? Question mark. Collaboration with BSS? Question mark."
To which Jerry responded with, "Thanks, I really enjoy them. I would love to see something from other games because I love video games and I really like the Metal Gear Solid series. I actually have them all except Portable Ops because Portable Ops is pretty bad from what I hear. That and I don't have a PSP.
Naturally.
I would love to collab with these guys. And we would love to collaborate with you, Jerry.
Yes, Jerry.
Jerry. Oh, Revenger's gonna hate me so bad. It's okay, I still love you, Revenger.
Leave a comment. Whose name should we chant next time?
That's right.
Clam Commando says, for some reason, the song won't add itself to my cart in the online store. I'm not sure if I'm the only one having this issue.
Referencing the Apocrypha song.
Apocrypha. We're sorry for that little snag, but it will soon be up on iTunes for you to buy, and like we said, Xbox Live, Amazon MP3,
Google Play.
Yeah, it'll be pretty much everywhere.
If you want to find it, it's available.
Yeah, Google Neil Lee Griffin, Apocrypha, and
Conspiracy Theory.
Yeah.
It'll come up.
And you'll find it somewhere.
Apologize for any issues with the Reverb Nation store, but we're hopefully going to get that worked out with some of the other retailers.
Absolutely.
Serious question from the Real Circle on Let's Destroy Metal Gear 1, saying, is Egoraptor doing Snake's voice?
Jack,
Is he?
would you tell us, is Egoraptor doing Snake's voice?
Yes.
Are you serious?
No, Duralius. I wish Egoraptor was doing that. If we were as talented and as popular as the phenomenal Egoraptor, then things would be a lot. We could actually afford to hire an artist for Metal Gear 4.
That's right. No, actually, our own Jack Renard does the voice of Solid Snake for all of the Metal Gear series. Isn't that right, Snake?
Okay. That's really hard to do after you've been voice acting all day.
Yeah.
We're going to have him do an entire podcast one time as Snake.
Yeah. It's got to be sometime that I don't have to talk for a week afterwards.
Easy. I don't suck.
Right. So, but no, thank you actually very much. We actually have watched the Metal Gear Awesome series, and we've all laughed our butts off at that. So, we recognize there's this kind of rivalry between the High and Daisy Metal Gears and Metal Gear Awesome, and that's not really us that's trying to instigate that. We love his works. We're not trying to steal what he's doing or whatever.
Or are we?
No, we're not.
So, thank you very much, though. I consider that a huge compliment. Thank you.
And that concludes the mailbag.
Time to stick it in our filing system. And on to our advice column for the week.
All right, for our advice column. Oh, don't look at me.
There's so much advice going on right now.
So much advice.
Persistence.
All right, so our general advice actually has to do with contracts and the importance of contracts.
And the importance of reading them.
Yeah, law and stuff, and wah, 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 wah,
But it's
wah.
important. You need to know this stuff.
It actually is. It's like somebody saying that they're going to give you something, and then they don't, and you have no way to prove that they ever said they would.
That's extremely true. I'm not going to name names, but in our time together as Broad Spectrum, we have dealt with so many people that will do that to you.
I have.
Yeah, dude.
I have a
It's not
file.
cool, dude.
I have a file on everyone that we've worked with.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I still have all of our contracts with them.
And out of all of them, we've gotten paid from 10% maybe.
Maybe so, but we
If
keep all
that.
of our contracts for 7 years here, so.
Nice.
Yeah.
But we know you are, just in case you're listening.
Yeah, dude.
But no, contracts are really kind of a double-edged sword that you really need to watch out for on both ends. Number one, be wary of people trying to force you into a contract if you're not necessarily ready. A lot of especially when you're starting out and you're very new to entertainment, everything sounds like your big break. It's like as soon as somebody contacts you, you're like, oh my god, this is it. I'm gonna be in movies. I'm gonna be up in Hollywood. Oh, this is great.
Yeah. And we've all done it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I never wanted Broad Spectrum Mass.
Oh yeah. Where do I sign?
Yeah. So it's real easy to get those stars in your eyes and just want to sign up with, like, if you're a music artist with the first record that comes along, if you're a graphic designer or a video producer, sign up for any kind of movie contract or TV shows. There's actually a lot of people that usually try to pitch reality TV shows. We've had a lot of experience with that. And
yeah, we have.
Usually, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. So I really, really strongly caution you to make sure that you read any kind of contract that's put in front of you. And don't just read it by yourself.
Yeah.
Send it, talk with your friends, talk with your family. If you need to get legitimate legal counsel, please do so.
Yeah, and do your research on who is giving you the contract. What reviews have people given about the company, or what have they done in the past? Do they have kind of a seedy past about how they've run business?
Yeah, what is their reputation like?
Yeah,
and now with the technology available, with the internet, and everybody's carrying a smartphone, it's so easy now for you to just Google search someone and find out, hey, this is a scam, or this might be
legitimate.
Yeah,
and actually, that's more relevant in Amber's career than probably any of us, as far as like contracts with agencies go. And the other reason that it's so important to really pay attention to these is, Amber, you were telling me before, like usually contracts last for like how long, as a rule of thumb?
As a rule of thumb, you can get a 2-year contract. And when you're looking at just starting out in a career, 2 years is a very long time, and a lot can happen.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people, not just your small seedy companies, but big time companies do it too, where you have a lot of people that want an exclusive contract because they see something about you that means you're going to go somewhere. So an exclusive contract is a good confidence booster, but if you're brand new to the industry, not something you necessarily want to take unless it has a huge paycheck attached to it and you are willing to sacrifice a lot. Because you're not just sacrificing not having anything, you're sacrificing opportunities.
Right,
Yeah.
the next 2 years you were locked into that. And
Exactly.
That goes
And-
across a lot of industries.
Yeah, somebody else could come to you with something that sounds like a better deal, and you would be in violation of your contract. They could hose you down in court if you went with that, if you were locked into an exclusive contract with someone else.
Right. Now, on the flip side, I want to encourage you guys to use contracts to the best of your ability in your own careers. Like, especially this comes into play for my dimension, for graphic design and for video and web solicitations. Do your best to get a contract with every client you work for. You'll hear a lot of people that say, oh yeah, I'll take care of you. Or they'll say, oh, here's what I need. I need you to build a website and we'll talk about money later. Don't take that, man, because you're not going to get paid. It's happened to me.
It's happened to all of us, isn't it?
Yeah, it's happened to all of us.
It's happened to Broad
Spectrum.
Spectrum.
And get them signed and witnessed so that you can be sure that your work's not going to be for nothing. So that's our general advice for the week, is to make sure that you are savvy with contracts, whether they're coming towards you or whether you're giving them to other people.
Get it in writing.
Yes. So for our dimension-specific advice this week, we are going to Neil.
Yes. It is. It's up to me to do the advice this time.
Are you prepared, brother?
I am prepared, brother.
Ah, excellent.
Oh, yes,
Is this
it
the
is.
time for advice?
No, that comes now.
Oh.
Okay, it's going to be a short one, but it's very important when you're dealing with sound. Ear fatigue.
Like what you get if you're listening to Hypercast.
Right. Actually, I think that's ear hemorrhaging. Yeah.
That's what it sounds like, Naomi.
Yeah, it is. But ear fatigue. Your ears get tired just like every other part of your body does. You know, if you're walking for a long time, your legs are tired and you need to rest. It's the same with your ears. And I know it's hard for me to know when to stop.
Right.
You know, you're mixing all day long or you're recording all day long and your ears are just like, okay, I've had it. Stop. Stop playing music. I need to rest. And it can just burn you out. And it's not really a good place to be. Some of the symptoms of ear fatigue. is your high end. You lose some of your high end in your hearing range, and everything will start to become bassy and kind of muddy. And that's when you should, if that's happening, you should really stop. Just
Step away from the computer.
step away from the speaker and go into a synth tank.
Because we all have one of those.
Yes. So if you're noticing your high end starts to go, or when you're mixing, if you can keep having to boost the high end as it's going down in your range, so you're boosting it up, and somebody else hears it, and it's like, it's
really tinny. Yeah.
It's biting. You should probably stop. And with that, a lot of people like to mix with headphones, which can lead to ear fatigue a lot sooner. Mixing with headphones is, I believe, and everybody has their opinion, generally not the best of ideas. Headphones should be used for clarity. If you're mixing and you're like, how is that going to sound up close? It can be done, but you want to keep the mix dry. When you got the sound coming through the headphones, they're right up against your ears, so everything starts to, it's so close, and you really hear all the little nuances. So what you want to keep it dry, because we tend to, if it's on headphones, it already sounds dry, so we tend to add more reverb. And when we're listening to it on a loudspeaker across the room, it's just going to be too much. So we want to keep it dry, and we want to keep it simple. Because if you have too many things going on, especially flangers, as it goes through the phase, and it can just really throw you off. When you see people all the time with headphones in their ear, they probably have ear fatigue. Because it's something we do all the time now.
I actually need to watch out for that, yeah.
Everybody has iPods and earbuds in all the time, and it's just, our ears aren't made to be constantly going, and especially if the sound is in our ears, it needs to be at a decent level and not from prolonged periods of time. So to wrap it up, headphones can be used for mixing, but they're not totally recommended for the entire mix. It's just to get clarity and make sure the little nuances are there. And don't wear headphones or earbuds for prolonged periods of time and or at a loud volume level.
All right, exciting stuff.
Alrighty, so we've touched on what's been going on in Broad Spectrum Studios with our new programs with Foxhound. We told you what we're looking for when it comes to Metal Gear Solid 4 to be able to produce that. We've mentioned Open Your Eyes, Apocrypha, and Tango Wild, which are all coming soon, as well as
collaborating with voice actors for Gunner Krieg.
Voice actors, yes. We had our interview with Karen Malena, and thank you again, Miss Malena.
Yes, thank you, Karen.
Yeah, sorry you had to step out for that, Amber.
It's all right. So wrapping up for this number 8 podcast, we will see you guys next time. Leave your comments, buy some music, and have a great
week.
Next month before you'll hear from us again. So
Jerry. But speaking of Jessica, she is the one who does the
Meryl
backing vocals.
oh, she was Meryl. I forgot that.
Wow, really? I'm trying to sell it. I'm doing this. Oh, Metal Gear!
That's all our fans are thinking. All they hear when you talk is just Metal Gear, Metal Gear, Metal Gear, Metal Gear.
It is true, though.